All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Vids in the Dugout. Joined once again by my good buddy Hitch here. We're about to dive into the Egg Bowl on the Diamond. Got the Mississippi State Bulldogs coming into Oxford this weekend in a crucial series for Ole Miss with their season kind of on the ropes here. And there's no better opponent to turn this thing around against than Mississippi State, a team we have not won a series against since 2014, I believe, if I have it right. But before we get into all that, I'll tell you about Rhythm. They're the absolute best handicapping app out there for any sports gamblers. The NCAA tournament is over with, so there's no more college basketball to be gambled on, but there's still the NBA. You can go on there, build your own models, have Rhythm build you some AI data-backed models for the NBA, and you can use that to even bet on player props. They have a tab for player props as well, so you can bet on those using your models, and they have golf launching here soon as well. So any of you golf gamblers, that'll be launched here pretty soon with Rhythm, and you can use that to make your golf bets as well. So y'all go check that out. That's RITHMM in the App Store or Google Play. Download it, sign up, get 7 days free, and start making a little bit of money. College football and NFL will be here in just a few months, so start building up that bankroll and getting ready for the season. So y'all go check those out. Again, it's RITHMM. Sign up and get 7 days free. Hitch, thanks for joining me again, buddy. How you doing?
Great. How are you, buddy?
Man, just hanging in there, weathering these storms here. Got some more coming in here in a couple hours, it looks like. I think is what the projection is. So we'll see if we get through those all right, too. So any of you South Mississippi people, hope y'all stayed safe on, I guess that would be Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. I saw where there was a tornado that come through the Jackson area. So if any of y'all are, or if any of our listeners are down that way, hope y'all stayed safe. And if there's more rounds coming, stay safe again. Obviously, this will come out way too late for that to be an actual warning for you. But, kind of felt like I need to say it anyway. So there you go. Stay safe out there. All right, let's dive
but if you're not
big...
listening, don't stay safe. If you're
That's
not
right.
listening, you put yourself in harm's way as much as you can.
That's right. That's right. And quite frankly, you did it to yourself. If you'd listened to this, we would have had a little bit of an info bubble reach for you there to help protect you from Mother Nature.
Yep.
That's one thing you do get by watching and listening to this here show every single week is
info bubble by association.
Yes, exactly. So that's one of the many benefits to tuning in every single week with me and Hitch here. But yeah, the Rebels are welcoming Mississippi State Bulldogs into town this weekend, Hitch, and it's pretty big series going on.
Yeah, it really is. I think if I counted right, there are 18 games or 18, SEC games, conference games left, 6 series.
That's right.
We are at 3 wins. We need 14, 15 to feel comfortable, so that's 11 or 12. So I'm looking at it, and if we've got to win 12 out of the next 18, this one is a big one. You got to get at least 2 of these. You got to get at least 2 of these. The way the math works out is you just need to win every series.
That's right.
From here to the end of the year. We know playing on the road in the SEC, that's probably not going to happen. I don't know that we go to Georgia and win that series. I don't know if we go to Alabama and win that series, right? So we're going to have to make up some of these games at home against some of these opponents that aren't nationally ranked in the top 5. And so this is a good one to start on. Let's go in here against our in-state rivalry and let's get the sweep. But more than anything, let's make sure that we get at least a series win to keep us on track for that 14, 15 wins we need to look at the postseason.
Yeah, that's a really good point you bring up. I was doing the math as well. If you win 2 out of 3 the rest of the way, that gets you to 15-15, I believe, and almost a lock for the postseason at that point. Especially with Ole Miss's RPI, the numbers are really good for Ole Miss. The only thing that's not is the actual record. So you want it. I think we're in the top 30 going into this weekend in RPI. So State's a team that again has a good RPI. That seems to be all we play, which we're in the SEC. That's just kind of how it is. Yes, State's RPI is 46 going into this weekend. So it's going to be another good challenge for us. But like you said, it's not realistic to think that you're going to go 2 out of 3 for the next 6 series in this conference. With road game or road series at Georgia, at Auburn, and at LSU still left on the slate. So that's going to be pretty tough. So eventually you're going to have to start getting some sweeps, right? And I could not think of a better time to do that than this weekend against Mississippi State because, look, Lamonis is not going to let those guys forget that they've owned us for the better part of a decade now, and that they have a chance to come in and basically end our season if they come in and take this series from us here at home in front of our home fans. I'll be real interested to see how our team responds to that. You've got to be mentally tough and be willing to fight back, quite frankly. You've got to show that fight as a team, and it has to start this weekend, though. We can't wait much longer.
Yeah, and it's got to start on Friday night.
Yeah.
I pitched last week. That was a series where it may make sense to take a chance on Friday night and maybe go a bullpen game with an opener on Friday and see if you can steal it from Hagen Smith. And then on Saturday and Sunday, you've got Liam Doyle and Riley Maddox that can come out and maybe take the series. This is, I thought about that this weekend. I think on Friday night we come out with our best option, Riley Maddox, get the W, come out. Liam Doyle. I think Liam Doyle, we can talk about that later when we talk about Saturday, but I think he's going to be very successful this weekend, Saturday. And then Sunday is going to be your opener bullpen game because you want to make sure that you get those first 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're exactly right there. I'd absolutely start Riley Maddox on Friday. As of this recording, we were talking before we started. We have not seen an official weekend rotation announcements usually put out earlier in the week. We have not seen that so far, but I'm assuming it will again be Riley Maddox on Friday with Liam Doyle on Saturday, and then again a bullpen game there on Sunday. I would assume if you don't have to use him in the first 2 games, you probably want to try to save Mason Nichols, as good as he looked Saturday against Arkansas. I think he showed some really good things. So I think Mike would rather have him saved for Sunday to start that game. But yeah, Maddox has really pitched his ass off ever since he's gotten into this weekend rotation. And even going back to the midweeks, he had 2 or 3 really good midweek starts leading up to it. Really got that sinker working. I love what Mike has done defensively with this team, swapping Randall and Hill at short and second. I think Randall's looked really good over there at shortstop, and I think Hill's looked a lot better at second base too. It kind of almost like it's taken the pressure off of him, not having to play that position. He's able to settle down and just play the game. And one that he's really good at, quite frankly. I know he's had his troubles, but he's obviously a really talented kid that's going to play well. And he's hitting the top of the lineup, and I think he's been pretty good up there still making good contact. So hopefully this is what really gets Luke Hill going, that shift to second. But Randall's looked really good. One thing I think I would do, Hitch, is start Judd Udermark at first base all 3 games. I think I really liked what I saw out of him playing first base against Arkansas. And so I think I just throw him over there at first base and just leave him over there. And then you figure out with, you can put Ross at DH and then figure out what you want to do as far as pinch hitting availabilities go with Furness and Gatlin and guys like that. But I think I start Udermark first, and I just leave him there to see what it looks like. In particular, though, with Maddox on Friday, because the infield defense means so much more with him on the mound than anybody else, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. I think he's a strikeout guy, but at the same time, he's going to pitch to a little bit of contact as well. And he's going to get a lot of ground balls on the infield. And you're right. I think it's important to have the best defense. I don't know if Judd Udermark is the best defensive first baseman, or I don't know. I hadn't seen enough from either one of them to know that one of them's better defensively than the other one. They both can hit, so that's good. But you're right. You do want to have your best defense there on the field Friday night. Well, every game, but especially on Friday night when you know you're gonna get a lot of ground balls from a guy like Riley Maddox.
Yeah. So that's one thing I'm looking for on Friday night. Are we still starting Trenton Lyons? I think I'm still on that train. At least he's hitting, and he gets down and blocks balls. Now, the pass balls are absolutely infuriating, ones that shouldn't get by him that don't bounce in the dirt. But when they do bounce, I think he's done a pretty good job getting in front of them, knocking them down. And he's a switch hitter and a guy that I think's held his own as a true freshman at the plate in this league.
Man, as I was looking at stuff this week or today earlier for this, you want to guess how many pass balls Ole Miss has?
Oh my God, there's no telling.
13.
How many?
13.
13. I would have guessed it was more than that. Now,
you want to know who's got the next closest?
Mississippi State.
No, I'm sorry. 7.
Oh, man.
Missouri's got 7.
Okay, yeah. You don't want to be associated with Missouri in baseball in anything.
But we have double the pass balls of anybody else.
Well, it should be more than that because there's several they count as wild pitches that should be pass balls as well. Yeah, so it should be more than that.
I guess if Trenton Lyons, switch hitter, that's a plus. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so you're not fully on board with me on anything that I've said outside of Riley Maddox pitching on Friday night. So we'll move on to Saturday now. Liam Doyle, really need him to get it going. You brought him up earlier saying you think that he's really going to turn around this weekend. Why is that?
Yeah, State doesn't walk a lot, despite having faced the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th ranked team in the league when it comes to giving up walks. Now, A&M is like second or third, whatever, so they do a good job. But the other 3 teams they play with, LSU, Florida, and Georgia, they're all at the bottom of the league when it comes to pitchers giving up walks. And still, State is middle of the pack at best when it comes to walks. So they're not going up there looking for their pitch, in a keyhole, and they're going to drive it. To me, they're a little more aggressive, and I think that plays really well into how Liam Doyle's approach when he pitches. He wants people to see that ball at the letters and think, oh yeah, I'm going to hammer that one and swing through it, right? And then to raise their eye level, and then he wants to be able to take that splitter and have it drop off the table. And have them swing through that as well. Neither one of those pitches are strikes every time, so if you have guys that are more aggressive at the plate, then that's going to lead them to swing and miss more often. I don't think that they hit a lot of doubles, but they don't hit a lot of home runs. So with Liam Doyle being more of a strikeout fly ball pitcher, that plays in his favor as well, because he's gonna throw some balls up in the zone. And State is pretty low in the league when it comes to hitting home runs as a team. Like I said, that plays in well. I think as long as we keep them out of the gaps, he's going to be very successful on Saturday. I'm not calling it. I'm not saying he's going to throw a one-hit shutout like Doug Nikhazy did that Saturday against State, but I do think that he's going to be very successful, have us in a real good opportunity to win this game on Saturday.
Yeah, and Doyle's one of those guys that he's really dependent on what the umpire is going to call as well, right? Arkansas decided they weren't going to swing it anything up, and they lifted up to the umpire, and he missed several calls up. They didn't have anything there at the letters since I've lost Hitch. Looks like he's back here. All right. So they didn't call anything at the letters this past weekend. I just wonder if maybe that's something State saw, and if that's something that Liam and the guys try to adjust a little bit going into Saturday. It's one thing to keep an eye on. That's what I'm interested in seeing with him.
And that's the game plan with Liam Doyle, right? Like the game plan should be make him throw me a strike at the belt. But if he gets ahead with that pitch at the letters, right, and he can get in on the hands, right, you start getting in 1-1 counts, 0-1 counts. You can't wait at that strike at the belt. You have to start. You get in a protect mode instead of an aggressive mode. And then you have to start fouling off hitters. Have to start fouling off pitchers' pitches to get a hitter's pitch. And it's just, I think that the way that Liam Doyle pitches and the way he attacks hitters plays really well for him come Saturday against this Mississippi State lineup from what I've seen on paper.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's the, like you said, he's got to get ahead in counts where that high fastball can play to where they can't just spit on it every time they see something starting up at the letters, right? So that's one thing that's going to be interesting to see Saturday. And then obviously with Maddox and Doyle, it's also important that they go a little bit deeper into games here, give us 6 innings. That way we can set up our bullpen for what I think will end up being a bullpen game. Is it going to be Mason Nichols starting out on Sunday for us to give us, one time through the order, or Grayson Saunier was scheduled to pitch Tuesday, got rained out, obviously. He's a guy that can go in there, and if he has more of a reliever's mindset to it, I think he could be really good for one time through the order as well.
Yeah, that's who I've got written down.
On Saunier?
I've got Saunier written down on Sunday, and then one time through the order. Like, he's been really good one time through the order this year. And then the way I would do it, right? Again, I've said it many times, I'm not a collegiate baseball coach. The way I would do it is I would run him out there, let him go one turn through the lineup. The first base runner he gets after that, right? That's it. And then we bring in Mason Nichols if he's available, or Toucan Sam, or one of these other guys that are
Mallets, whoever,
and it turns into a bullpen game then. But I've got Saunier written down.
Yeah, it's also dependent on what we end up having to use on Friday and Saturday after Maddox and Dole pitch. So it's really important that we get good outings out of them because that really determines what you're going to do on Sunday from a pitching standpoint. It's about time this lineup really gets going, Hitch, where we've really kind of hit a wall offensively. We're not near as patient as we have been. Earlier in the year, we seem to be a lot more aggressive, chasing way more pitches than we used to. Now, is that because earlier in the year
I want that? I want that, but within reason.
Yes, and that's the thing. We've gotten out of reason at this point. We're starting to chase pitches that are way out of the strike zone. We need to get back to a more patient approach. Get in hitters' counts. That way you can go up there and hunt for your one pitch when you're ahead in the count, and then drive that damn thing into a gap over the wall, something like that. Easier said than done, I know, especially just sitting here in Enville, Mississippi, in front of a computer saying it. But that being said, I do think that we have the guys in the lineup to do it, though. I'm still a Luke Hill believer. I like the at-bats he's put together. Obviously, Andrew Fisher is going to be an all-SEC third baseman by the time the year's over with and that gets voted on. He's been really good. Leger, same thing, probably going to be an all-SEC hitter. And then you got Ross, who was really hot in non-con, slowed down a little bit in SEC play, but definitely a big bat you got to watch out for. Trayson Hughes, still making contact, can raise hell on the base paths when he gets on. Incredible defender, but offensively, I still like what I'm seeing out of him too. And Udermark has maybe the most upside of anybody on the entire team once he gets going. So I think we do have the depth necessary to put together a lineup to score runs against this Mississippi State squad. But it's time to start doing it.
Yeah, and and to be honest, I like all of these kids. I think all of these kids are great players. But to be honest, Fisher is probably the only one that isn't overmatched at this point of the transfers that came in. And, of course, Leger and Groff, they're doing their thing. But of the transfers that have come in, Fisher is probably the only one who doesn't look overmatched. And as I dig into the numbers a little bit, it makes some sense because the four SEC teams that we've played so far, right, are first, third, fifth, and seventh in earned run average, first, second, fifth, and seventh in opposing batting average, first and seventh in strikeouts, right? So in the league, the four teams that we played make up the top half in most of the pitching categories of the ones that matter, So like you said, it's time for this lineup to bust out a little bit and have a big weekend. Mississippi State is right there at number 6 in earned run average, number 6 in opposing batting average, fifth in strikeouts. So they're going to be just as tough. But I do think that this Mississippi State pitching staff, may not be at the Arkansas level pitching staff or the Kentucky level or the Tennessee level, right? And so maybe this is a weekend where we have a couple of guys bust out of some slumps, and they are mad that I said that they look overmatched at the plate, and they come out and prove me wrong, right? So I hope that's the case.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, it's we've talked a good bit so far this year about the gauntlet that we've had to go through so far this year with South Carolina at home, at Tennessee, Kentucky at home, at Arkansas. It's been an absolutely brutal schedule to start the SEC year for us, but that is life in the SEC. It doesn't matter who you play. The only thing that matters in the end is what the record is. You can say that we've played arguably the toughest SEC schedule so far, but still say that we haven't done enough and it's still not good enough. And it gets lighter for us. You're not going to play Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee again this year, right? So that's obviously a plus. But now you've put yourself into a position to where you have to really take advantage of these other teams you're about to start playing. And look, they're good teams too, right? Mississippi State's a top 25 team.
You know how many runs
it was like up? It was 78 or 79 going into last week, and I know we didn't just light them on fire.
83.
83, yeah.
Texas A&M is the next closest at 124.
That's right. And if you had listened to the show last week,
41 difference. Wow.
I know last week it was 30 difference. So if you tuned in for that, I was able to hit you with that stat. Hitch was right here with me, and he obviously still didn't hear it. So hopefully y'all picked up on it last week. So their pitch staff's unbelievable, man. They're an incredible team, which kind of makes last week even a little bit more frustrating because we had at least two of them, right? We had the leads in the first and the third game, had our opportunities in the second as well. But look, bottom line, Ole Miss has to get something going this week against Mississippi State. They're a good team. They're a team that's had our number for almost a decade now. It's time to end that. It's time to put this bad start to this SEC season behind us. And if we're going to have any postseason aspirations, you have to go take 2 this weekend. Quite frankly, I think you need 3 with what's coming up on the schedule later on as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see a sweep. I think somebody commented on something last week about, no moral victories, but the effort was there. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think we even talked about how, there wasn't any quit.
They played hard.
Yeah.
They played hard against Arkansas.
And I think
that was a case of us playing at probably, I would say, 80% of our peak last weekend. Like we gave good effort. We got some good performances out of several players, but we weren't able to get that big hit. But again, we played hard. We went in there. We competed with Arkansas for 3 games, but you didn't get any wins, and that's just all that matters. So it's time to change that.
I think we have that same intensity and that same attitude, right, going forward. I don't. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I don't want back-to-back sweeps to crush the hopes of making the postseason for this team, and then to lay down, and they didn't against Arkansas, so they shouldn't against Mississippi State. If they had that same level of play come out on the field with that, I think we at least take the series. Again, if we're doing predictions, I'm going to say take the series because we have to, but I would love a sweep.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because that's exactly where I'm headed next. We're going to do our weekend predictions here. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Hitch, how many do the Rebels get this weekend?
I think the Rebels get 2 this weekend.
So you're going 2 out of 3?
I think they get Friday and Saturday.
Well, if we get Friday and Saturday, we're taking Sunday too. So I'm going with the sweep. Rebels take all 3. Kind of get back in the thick of things a little bit here, hopefully, after this weekend against Mississippi State, because that will get the Rebs up to 6 SEC wins, put us at 6-9. If I've got that right, yeah, they'll put us at 6-9. Going into a battle with Georgia in Athens next weekend, a team that is very, again, going on the road in this league is absolutely brutal. And at some point, we've got to start sweeping some of these games at home because you're not going to go on the road and make a living in this league. So I think Ole Miss definitely gets 2. I'm calling for 3 this weekend, though, to get the train back on the tracks a little bit here. So really excited to get this thing going on Friday night and see what the Rebels are able to do.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday series and not. I'm sorry, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday instead of a Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week.
Yeah, me too. But to be fair, if it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they probably wouldn't get the game in on Thursday anyway. With the rain still supposed to be going on through Thursday, but it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend. If you listen to our last show, I'll repeat it anyway. Big weekend in Oxford. You got the Grove Bowl going on. You got the big series against Mississippi State. If you're in the area, get out to Oxford, support not only Ole Miss baseball, but also the football program that has so many good things going on right now. Lane Kiffin and his staff's done a great job building one of the best rosters in the country. And I would say you get your first look at them. That's probably not the best way to say it because they're not going to be doing really a spring game. It's a flag football style 7-on-7 something or another they're doing. I don't think the exact format has been laid out quite yet. If it has, then I haven't seen it. But I know it's a flag football 7-on-7 type thing they've got going on with other things, hot dog eating contests like we talked about yesterday and all that. So if you're in the area, get out, enjoy some baseball in beautiful weather. It's going to be sunny and upper 70s, low 80s all weekend. So get out, watch some baseball, go to the Grove Bowl, have yourselves a good time, support these 2 programs. And Hitch, me and you are going to get back together on Sunday evening after that 3rd game.
I'll be here.
We'll talk about the Rebel sweep then.
All right.
All right, bud. Hi, Toddy.
See ya. Hi, Toddy.